My name is Julie Weiss. I work for the City of Palo Alto Regional Water Quality Control Plant, and on behalf of the Watershed Management Initiative, also known as the WMI, and the Plastics Reduction Task Force, I welcome you to today's event, the 2011 Plastic Pollution Prevention Summit. Today's summit actually continues a conversation that started in October of 2009 that was put on by Save the Bay. And that was one of the first regional conversations about how public agencies could be addressing the issue of both plastic bags and polystyrene foam in the greater context of how are we going to be addressing plastic pollution that's impacting our local and our global environment. Today, we are going to start off by learning the newest information about the problem environmentally, and also how it relates to local governments who are having to deal with the cost for cleaning up this particular pollutant. In the afternoon, we're going to be discussing issues relating to foam, product restrictions, product alternatives, and other options to reduce plastics pollution beyond the methods that we're hearing about most recently, which are our product restrictions and bans. So today's event really is about information, but it's also about inspiration, because most of us, I think, know in our hearts that our best work is done when our hearts are engaged as well as our minds. And as a nonprofit sector says, our best work is done when our hearts are connected to the cause. And so we have made an effort today to provide sources of inspiration for us as well, who are all working on this issue. We are very excited to have two artists, Linda Gass and Judith Selby-Lang, who are here today. Our planning committee is really excited about them because, as we've been saying, oh my gosh, they're real artists. Because these are artists that are shown in galleries across not just the U.S., but internationally. Their work is shown at the San Francisco MoMA, and they are very well-known, renowned artists, and they have agreed to come to our event today. So please come and check them out. Other sources of inspiration, the impact of nonprofits on our businesses to be able to reduce plastics pollution in their communities. We have Greentown Los Altos, who is out in the lobby, who is there to talk about their program and to give examples of compostable products. We are also going to be giving you an opportunity to find out how you can be inspiring students in your own community. We have tables also out in the lobby where there are two different ways to show reusable bag art and provide reusable bag art projects to students so they can be inspired themselves to try to make a change. Oh, yeah. We are also giving you an opportunity to give us your ideas and your inspiration. It's a little difficult to see, but in the back, right beyond the chocolate croissants, so this is your great excuse, go back there, and you'll see three posters that are up on the windows. There's one with a big smiley face where you can tell us what you're liking about the day and what you've enjoyed learning about. One that's not looking too happy, you could give us some feedback if something's not working for you or something that you've heard that isn't making you so happy. And then also one that says, what if? And the question, what if? What if we did this? What if regionally we were able to work together and do X, Y, and Z? And the idea there is that we want to gather from you your ideas and your input about how we can be moving forward together to reduce plastic pollution. Today's event was organized by the Plastic Reduction Task Force. This group started about 9 months ago. It sort of co-evolved when a number of public agencies and nonprofits realized at the same time, look, we are all working on this project and we could be doing a better job synchronizing our efforts. So let's get together and let's start working on this together. And the first project we decided to work on was this summit, because we knew we needed to continue this conversation that had started about a year and a half prior. And so this is the first project of that task force, and the task force will continue after today, and we'll be meeting to figure out, well, what is next for us? What is next for all of us in the room? And we are hoping that you will join us in that conversation and be providing us input on the surveys you'll be receiving after this event, and also on, again, those notes by the chocolate croissants back there. So about how we could be working together in the future. I want to thank the committee members who are also all task force members who have worked very hard over the last 6 months to put this event together. They've been one of the smartest, most competent committees I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And I'm going to ask them to stand for acknowledgement, but also so you can make eye contact with them and know if you need something during the day, or if you've got something you need assistance with, make eye contact with one of them and track one of us down so we can be of assistance to you. So our committee members from the City of San Jose, Roberta Dunlap, Paula Desma, Emmy Mendoza, Linda Nguyen, please stand up. Cupertino, Sherry Donnelly, Natalie Henry. Palo Alto, Mary Doden and Karen North. Save the Bay, Allison Chan. Clean Water Action, Miriam Gordon. These are our first members of Plastics Reduction Task Force. We hope this group will be expanded, and I want to give all of you a big round of applause for putting together today's event. Thank you. We also need to give a tremendous thank you to the City of San Jose, who is sponsoring this event. All the food, all of the outreach has been covered by the City of San Jose. Thank you so much for that. And the City of Cupertino, who has provided this venue today. Also, our speakers, some of which have traveled from Southern California to come up here today. Thank you so much. We wouldn't have an event without our wonderful speakers. We also like to thank, we know we have some elected officials today, Councilmember Kansen who will be speaking here momentarily. Megan Murray from Senator Lowenthal's office. Could you please stand? So, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And so our day is going to begin here. We're going to start off with some opening remarks from Councilmember Kansen followed by Leslie Tamminen. I want to give you a little bit Background about Councilmember Chu. Councilmember Kansen is the City of San Jose's District 4 Councilmember Kansen is from the City of San Jose's District 4. Elected in June 2007, he initiated landmark legislation to require citywide green building standards and ban the use of plastic bags. He's chair of the Silicon Valley Anti-Litter Campaign and a member of the Santa Clara County Recycling and Waste Reduction Commission. Councilmember Chu, along with Councilmember Nora Campos and Mayor Chuck Reed, first introduced the issue of plastic bag pollution to the City of San Jose Council in early 2008 and was a strong advocate for the ban on single-use takeout bags that was adopted by the City of San Jose in December 2010. So please welcome Councilmember Kansen Chu.
Thank you, Julie, for the introduction. I'm coming down with a cold or something, so excuse me if I have to keep lubricating my my throat and my vocal cord. But please give this committee member another round of applause. I'm really, this Plastic Pollution Task Force member. Yeah, it's really a pleasure and an honor to be here, joined with so many of you today for this summit. I'd like to also echo my appreciation to all the partners that make today's summit possible. The City of San Jose, of course, and the City of Palo Alto, and I have and the Clean Water Action. There anybody from Clean Water Action? Please stand up and take a bow. All right. And the Santa Clara County Watershed Management Initiative members. We have anybody from Watershed WMI? All right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. And also Clean Water Action. Okay, I'm sorry. And the Save the Bay, who has actually worked very closely with my staff, the San Jose staff, to make the plastic bag an ordinance possible. So. I just wanted to share some of my inspirations and the reason that I proposed the ban on plastic bag. As many of you know, that I was born and raised in Taiwan. I'm an immigrant, so after my first election to the San Jose City Council member, I took my wife and my family back to Taiwan. Partially to visit one of our San Jose sister city in Tainan, in the southern part of Taiwan, but also to visit some of my family members and my wife's family members. We stayed at my sister-in-law's house, and one afternoon we decided to just wander off our own to a little grocery shop to find some of those food that we liked when we were children there. And so we pick up quite a few items. We were just going to pick up one or two, but we pick up a kind of a basket full of items. And at the check stands, the clerk ring up all the items, and then we're just staring at each other. I was thinking, back my grocer, what's going on? And so then she started talking. She said, do you have a basket or a bag to take those grocery home? I said, no, I don't. I said, well, you want to buy one for equivalent of a quarter, the U.S. quarter? I said, oh, okay, I didn't know that we don't get this for free. And the lady told me that you don't get nothing for free, yeah, right? I mean, the truth of the matter is that we pay for the plastic bag, and we decided the plastic bag. And so she's giving me a lecture. I don't want to kind of preach into the choir that how plastic bag pollute our street, the water, the waterways, and the highway, and so on and so forth. So I paid my 25 cents, and I got my plastic bag. And when I get back to my sister-in-law's house, I start wondering. I say, wow, that's, then I start sharing the story with my sister-in-law. I say, how come you didn't remind us to bring our own shopping bag? And she said, well, remember when we were growing up in Taiwan, there was no plastic bag. Everybody bring their own shopping bags to the open market. So I didn't know that I have to remind you, to bring your own bag. I said, oh, that's very, very true. So I started thinking about why can't we do it in San Jose? Why can't we do it in San Jose? So when I get back to the San Jose, I look at some of the initiatives at that time. I know San Francisco started banning the plastic bag, but they allow paper bag. And I also learned that the paper bag is really not that environmentally friendly. It takes a lot of water to recycle the paper and a lot of energy to recycle the paper. So after talking or consulting with our great ESD, Environmental Service Division folks, we started initializing the ban on the plastic bags. And then later on, we added the paper bag to it as well. There was a lot of resistance at the beginning. I have a phone call from my constituents to say, hey, why do you want to charge us for the plastic bag? I know your San Jose is poor. I know you have your budget problem. But that's not the way to increase the tax or the burden on us. And so I started kind of telling them that it's really not a tax. I mean, is there any tax in the United States that you be able to avoid by just bringing your own plastic bag to shopping? I mean, if that's a tax, you consider a tax, I can show you a way how to avoid paying tax in the United States. Isn't that great? So I say, wow, it costs a lot of money. You want to charge me 25 cents per bag? I say, yeah, it is a lot of money. But I told you, after I got dinged the first time in Taiwan with my paying 25 cents for my plastic bag, guess what? The next day, I bring my own bag. I mean, it's up to you. If you decided not to bring your bag and just wanted to keep the habit of going to the grocery store and let the clerk, put them all in the plastic bag, you feel, you deserve that service, you pay for that 25 cents. For me, I'm a very frugal people. I don't, for no reason I want people to charge me 25 cents for the bag. There are a couple times that we went shopping without carrying our bag. Sometimes it is inconvenient, admit it. But guess what? I just asked the clerk to put all my groceries in the cart, back in the cart. You don't have to bag it. and I push it to the to my car, open up my trunk, and back it there. I mean, I actually saved some time for the people behind me, you know, and make the line shorter and easier to go through the checkout stand. So then during the process, you know, I have to say my patience run out many times. It takes me 2 years. 2 years, you know, after we initiated the memo to have our ESD folks to look into the possibility of banning the plastic bag. It took us, San Jose, 2 years. Well, but I understand during that 2 years of period of time, we actually didn't waste any time. We used that 2 years to educate our voters, to educate our constituents about the plastic bag pollution. We used the time to educate our residents that banning the plastic bag, not using the plastic bag, is just a change of a habit. We educated them that we're not banning the single-use wrapping plastic bag. We're just banning on the T-shirt, the checkout plastic bag. And then we work with the grocers. I have to say the California Grocers Association, Tim James, if I got the right correctly, was very instrumental. They got on board after a couple of meetings, and they help us to craft the ordinance so we meet the least resistance from the larger groceries. And we have also talked about whether this ban should concentrate on the large retailers, the Walgreens, the CVS, and the Safeways, or we should go to 7-Elevens, those little retail stores. And I'm glad that we have made the decision to include the smaller stores. You know, then the 7-Eleven people, they organize a big rally, you know, and to the city hall, and they want to talk to me. Excuse me. By talking to the ESD folks, we find out that there's actually more litters in the small stores than in the large stores. Because you go in, you buy the can of Coke, and they give you a paper bag. And once you walk off the store, what do you do with the paper bag? You throw it away. And when you're done with your bottle of Coke, what do? You throw it away. And so they are not people that shops at the smaller stores doesn't really have a lot of grocer to be back, and that's actually less of an impact for them to just ban the plastic and the paper bag. So what we're sharing you the story is because I know once we move forward, there will be a lot of resistance. And we understand that this is not just a problem with the city of San Jose. So I brought this issue to the Recycle and Waste Reduction Committee, and we got very well received. I have to commend that the city of Palo Alto actually jumped ahead of the San Jose and start banning the plastic bag while we are still working on the environmental impact of the plastic and paper bag. Now, I'm very proud to say that we have a very comprehensive EIR, and I know the ESD people in San Jose, as well as the council and the mayor, are very happy to share that information with all of you. I understand that Sunnyvale is taking advantage of it, and Palo Alto, you're welcome to have it. I mean, it's a very thorough document. I'm pretty sure that it will stand any possible lawsuit from the American Chemistry Association. That's pretty much the one lone voice out there that still call my office and wanted to meet me and talk to me about how bad of a person I am, because I killed their manufacturing jobs. But during a rally on the step of Sacramento Capitol Hills, there's a lot of those recycled bag manufacturers there. They were showing off, their product, and they were saying, "Gosh, you don't know how many business you have generated, and how many people that we have hired to manufacturing those recyclable bags." So they thanked me for providing those opportunity and to the business owner, as well as an opportunity for many of their workers here. Again, I just wanted to thank you very much for coming to this summit. This is really, I don't want to emphasize to you how important it is, but we being in Silicon Valley, the innovation capital of the world, I definitely wanted to challenge all of you to continue this movement to provide a better environment, not just for ourselves, but for our children's and the children's or many generations to come. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to welcome you to this summit. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Chu. I'm very pleased right now to invite Leslie Tamminen, our morning speaker this morning. Leslie Tamminen is a consultant for Seventh Generation Advisors, which is a nonprofit environmental organization based in Santa Monica. She's the director of the Ocean Program, facilitating the Clean Seas Coalition, which is a growing group of statewide environmentalists, scientists, students, and community leaders that are pushing California to strengthen its laws to reduce trash in California's seas and along its beaches. Leslie is also a California Ocean Science trustee. She was formerly special advisor to Lieutenant Governor John Garamendi and the legislative director and staff attorney for the environmental nonprofit organization Heal the Bay, where she was responsible for the development and implementation of statewide water quality regulation and legislation, including the first ever Education and the Environment Initiative, which requires environmental education curriculum development in all core disciplines in public K through 12. Leslie is a graduate of the University of California at Berkeley and the University of Southern California Law Center. She lives in the Los Angeles area with her husband, Terry Tamminen. Please welcome Leslie Tamminen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to move this over. Thanks to all the cities who have produced this. Cupertino, your facilities are beautiful. In San Jose, this is an incredible spread of food. I've worked so long for nonprofits. Whenever I see that much free food, my eyes sort of glaze over. I want to talk to you today about my source of inspiration, Rebecca Hosking. Rebecca from Devon, England, is a well-regarded wildlife photographer with a winning smile and a cute button nose and a friendly, matter-of-fact manner. Several years ago in Hawaii on assignment for the BBC, she came upon a sea turtle, and she could only watch in horror as it choked on a plastic bag and died in front of her. She was so moved, she took her film of that incident back to her hometown in Modbury, England, and showed it to all the local merchants. And they were sufficiently moved also that they answered her plea to try and get rid of plastic bags in their village. Over the course of a few months, she worked with every shop owner to try and find appropriate replacements, and their town became the first village in the United Kingdom to be plastic bag free. on a family trip to England in 2007, I interviewed Rebecca and the shopkeepers in a documentary attempt to create a film to persuade Los Angeles County, who was then considering to ban bags, to do so. They didn't at that time, but they have since. While our 15-year-old son did camera work and my husband carted the luggage, Rebecca said to us on film, "If Little Modbury with 1,500 people can do it, you can do it too." I believed her then, and I believe her now, and I'm here to tell you, you can do it. Some of you who are here today to learn how you might be able to do it may be wondering, why bother? There are no turtles in my town, and we have riots in the Middle East, unemployment, our city coffers are shrinking. We have bigger fish to fry. Is it really worth it to put all this effort into working on plastic pollution reduction? Well, you're going to hear later from people far more scientific than I about the scope and the magnitude of the problem. But I would tell you, yes, it is that important. The movie The Graduate got it right. Unfortunately, the future is plastic, unless people like us take strong action. Speaking of a fish fry, if we do not, we may literally be setting our last supper from the sea on our table. Like it or not, we dine at a table increasingly filled with plastic packaging. Now, what doesn't kill you might make you stronger, but in this case, given the endocrine disruptors that we know to be associated with plastic, it's probably going to shrink your genitals first. Now, like climate change, the problem is global in reach, and it is permanent. Now, even if you're not motivated like I am by an apocalyptic vision of the future, be motivated by the opportunities. Speakers today are going to tell you about the enormous cost to cities for the plastic pollution issues. With the advent of Prop 26, ban regulation is an important tool in your city toolbox of regulations to consider. Many cities and counties have successfully implemented bans to save money, as well as increase the quality of life in their cities. Cities like San Jose, Palo Alto, San Francisco, and LA County, for example, believe that education and recycling are not the solution to pollution. Dilution is not a solution, and convenience packaging is anything but convenient. Now, the definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, after decades of coastal cleanups, where plastic is still in the top most collected items, and after numerous educational efforts aimed at keeping America beautiful and laws aimed at recycling, these brave ones have been willing to do something to make more direct action and implement source reduction, which is the first forgotten R of reduce, reuse, recycle. Now, San Francisco deserves special recognition for being the first to try the new approach. Initial efforts to ban polystyrene and plastic bags both led to industry pushback and efforts to set up recycling, which in both cases did not work. And thus were born the bans that exist today. It's interesting to note that the state had a similar experience with its law, AB 2449, which attempted to do recycling of plastic bags. And years after the implementation of the law, the state still cannot conclusively say from its data whether or not the law was successful. Now, let's imagine that you agree there is money to be saved. And perhaps you're emboldened to think about new kinds of source reduction ordinances discussed here today. Well, then you might want to know what kind of opposition to expect. Well, as Mark Twain said, a person who holds a cat by the tail learns things she can learn in no other way. Now, if I gave you a review of local and state bans, the one thing in common, as Councilmember Chu has said, is the American Chemistry Council. The ACC has repeatedly killed legislative solutions in order to protect the commercial viability of its member organizations, companies like Exxon, British Petroleum, Dow. San Francisco got around them largely with the element of surprise by being an early adopter. But for the rest of us, it's important to understand the typical types of arguments they will make, which are applicable to any of the kinds of ordinances you'll hear here today about. How does the American Chemistry Council and the Progressive Bag Alliance and the Save the Bag Coalition, which is not associated with either of the aforementioned organizations, kill Bill in California? Well, for the case study of AB 1998, Assemblymember Julia Brownlee's bill, the American Chemistry Council said it would cost the public, and especially poor people, money. They produced radio, TV, full-page print ads claiming that the 5-cent fee on paper bags, designed to discourage paper bag use in the bill, would be a tax on the public. What they didn't highlight was the well-documented double whammy to us taxpayers and the public who are already subsidizing the costs of single-use bag cleanup. California spends $25 million a year, probably more. That's in addition to consumers paying $18 to $30 annually per person for bags, by estimate of the city of San Francisco. And then, of course, the American Chemistry Council forgot to mention that, of course, you can bring your own bag. What else did they say? Well, they said that thousands of plastic single-use bag maker jobs were at stake. In an informal survey by bill sponsor Heal the Bay, the vast majority of all plastic bag makers in California were non-union, made many more products than just single-use bags, and had markets outside of California. They also didn't mention, of course, that the bill gave them retooling credits for some factories, and of course they didn't mention the reusable bag industry that the council member referred to and the jobs that could have benefited from the bill. Now they are neglecting to mention that their associates, some plastic bag manufacturers, have even very recently sued a California reusable bag maker for statements about plastic pollution. They are gunning down Chico Bags, a Clean Seas Coalition business member who happens to sell bags in another state where there is no anti-SLAPP suit protection. In the height of hypocrisy, it is really the plastic bag industry that has actually put California jobs on the line. The American Chemistry Council and their allies said the bill was unpopular. Well, for 21 senators it was, but for the majority of the state legislature who did vote for the bill, and for the governor, and for the giant coalition of California cities and counties, for grocers, labor, environmentalists who supported the bill, it would have been a sustainability gateway bill, saving consumers money and protecting the oceans. Had the bill passed, we likely would have been applauded by all of China, parts of Australia, Africa, the EU, India, and as of last week, in a Hall of Shame moment for the US, Afghanistan. All told, 25% and growing of the world's population lives in a country with a ban or a fee on plastic bags. And in California, the number is approaching 10% of the state population. As Bill McDonough might say, if you can move 10% of the people, you have a thought revolution. Now, additional claims in the future by industry will likely focus on industry-sponsored life cycle analyses making glowing claims about single-use plastic bags, claims that bags are recyclable through new, but as yet unproven, technology, and depending upon the individual structure of a city's ordinance, legal salvos against cities on the basis of CEQA. None of this should deter you. Many cities today here are on your team. Many NGOs here today are on your team and can provide fabulous resources, and you'll hear from many of them. The truth shall set you free, and you will have plenty of information to draw upon in this conference. You will have other allies on your side as well, in addition to the rich complement of cities and counties enacting source reduction legislation. US EPA and the state of California are invested in your efforts. California has initiated policy efforts. Most of you are probably aware of the Ocean Protection Council's Marine Debris Resolution of 2007 and the subsequent implementation strategy of 2008. These policies respectively call for target reductions of trash within a set timeline and prioritize the state's efforts for source reduction for sort of the worst offender plastics like cigarette butts, plastic bottle caps, plastic bags, and polystyrene. The implementation strategy also prioritizes extended producer responsibility, which has been embraced in Canada and the EU and other countries. They have yet to be fully implemented in California, I would concede, but they remain critical templates for state as well as national and international action, and they are your policy foundations. Similarly, there are significant regulatory efforts like trash total maximum daily loads in NPDES permits under the Federal Clean Water Act, which I know some of you don't like. There's also upcoming state policies on trash, which I hope all of you will support, which together point towards source reduction legislation at the local level in order to aid compliance. Lastly, the public is on your side. Source reduction is a movement, not an ordinance, and ultimately you will be successful. The range of supporters you have available to you is phenomenal. Take advantage of this. In California, many have shown up to support legislation, including shoppers and checkers unions, baggers and checkers unions at the grocery stores. In Vermont, the state employees union is supporting legislation there. There is an incredible range of support. Schools, NGOs use the breadth of experience and the untraditional partnerships that you may have available to you. Wrapping up, be brave, lead. Unless you're the lead dog, the view never changes. Now more than ever, it's imperative for cities to lead, given that the state has not, and that it is in the grip of special corporate interests. In conclusion, I would tell you simply, as they say in Modbury, you can do it. Thank you.